Hi lacrosse fans, welcome back to episode number 25 of the Sticks and Picks Lacrosse podcast presented by Lacrosse Unlimited. Lacrosse Unlimited has provided the best equipment, apparel, and lacrosse footwear since 1990. Be sure to check out their website at lacrosseunlimited.com for all your lacrosse needs. I'm your host, Will Petchnig, alongside co-host Jake Fox. In today's episode, we talk to a Six Nations native, Randy Staats. He's one of the best players in today's game and truly represents how amazing the game of lacrosse is. He shares stories about growing up in Six Nations, winning several championships, playing professional lacrosse, and representing the Iroquois Nationals on many occasions.
He's a Syracuse lacrosse alumni from Six Nations, Ontario, where he was an All-American and All-ACC team, a two-time JUCO Offensive Player of the Year, first-team All-American and national champion at Onondaga Community College. He has been a member of the Iroquois Nationals for over a decade now. He is a Mann Cup champion with the Six Nations Chiefs. He was the 29th overall pick by the Rochester Rattlers in the 2015 MLL draft and the 6th overall pick by the Georgia Swarm in the 2015 NLL draft. He's currently playing for the Atlanta Blaze in the MLL and Georgia Swarm in the NLL. Please welcome to the podcast, Randy Staats.
Hey guys, how are you?
Randy.
Not much, man. Hanging in there.
Yeah, you're not losing it yet?
No, not yet. It's getting pretty boring. I know. Hopefully this thing comes to an end soon. It's being tied up in the house is brutal. How are you guys?
Oh, we're getting through. We've been interviewing a bunch of guys, so basically we'll just kind of jump right into things. We knew you grew up in Six Nations. Can you kind of talk about growing up in Six and kind of the meaning of lacrosse in that area?
Yeah, I mean, growing up here, it's definitely different than most places. I think just because of our culture and our ties with the game. Like I've been playing lacrosse since I was 3 years old, so it's run deep in my family and also in a bunch of families around here. So I think it's more than a game. I know a lot of people say that, but actually I think it really is. I mean, growing up here, still to this day, I just talked about this the other day. I still see people having a backyard game, or when I'm driving by, people are shooting on their nets. Like yesterday, my neighbor actually had a little backyard game. So, I didn't hop in it, but I thought about it. But it's so good to see and people who don't even play no more. So it's definitely awesome, and people rally around it.
Talk about when you were young, Randy. Obviously, Six kind of has basically 3 or 4 days of the week that are designated to teams growing up. So it's like I remember Bomber saying, basically every day of the week you had a game and you lined up and you're ready to go to it.
Yeah. You either have like field practice, like probably 2-3 times a week, and then you're out playing those other 2 nights or whatever. I mean, it's definitely a grind as a kid. I mean, you don't think of it as a kid, right? You're ready to go. You could play. I think those provincial or qualifier tournaments, you're playing like 8 games in a day. I couldn't imagine doing that now. I'd be broken.
I don't know. I played for an organization that never made qualifiers, so.
Oh, yeah. Well, those days. I mean, I talk about this sometimes. I'm like, imagine if we had to do that now, like 5 games in a day. No way, man. Just be dead. But yeah, it was definitely busy. But like once hockey season started, like it would just all switch. But then in 2004, the Iroquois Lacrosse Arena got built, and that's when lacrosse around here started going all year round, and you started seeing more people just getting better and always there. I mean, that's where I was as a kid for pretty much every day almost. So, yeah, that arena really helped us out.
Who were some of the guys you looked up to? Obviously, you probably went to a bunch of Rebels games, a bunch of Arrows games, a bunch of Chiefs games. Who are some of the guys you always looked up to?
From the Res, or what do you mean?
Yeah, like guys who you would see basically around the Res, and then you'd go watch them play, and you'd be like, "Holy shit, that might be me someday."
Yeah. Oh, there's kind of a long list. There's this guy, Cody Jacobs. He played in the NLL for a little while. He played junior here. He was a lefty. Obviously, Cody Jamieson, Craig Point, Delby Paulus. I remember watching him playing for the Chiefs. I'm trying to think. There's a lot of guys, man, and they're the ones who really kind of set the stone or set the bar for everyone around here. And I think we're trying to carry it on.
Yeah, no, for sure. And lacrosse has definitely grown so much, and it is one of the hotbeds for lacrosse, not only in Canada but in the world. So you were lucky enough to play for your hometown Six Nations Arrows in junior A lacrosse. Can you kind of talk about that experience and how that was for you?
Yeah, that's special for me. Just because like when I was growing up and always being at the arena, I was a ball boy for I think it might have been 2000. No, it wasn't 2006. It might have been 2004. I was a ball boy and I got to go out to the Menno Cup with the boys. So it was pretty cool, especially being like a young kid, right? But playing for the Six Nations Arrows, I think as you're a kid in the minor systems, that's pretty much, well, for me, that's what I looked up to and that's what I wanted to do because I seen like those Peterborough battles, those Whitby battles and Orangeville battles, you know what I mean? Like the whole arena's packed and you go to game 7 or game 5 and the intensity of that is just crazy. And being a part of it as I got older, I think my rookie year was 2008, trying to carry on the tradition. And it means a lot more for me just because I'm from here. It's kind of like a pride thing, I guess, for me. And like when you're in the community, a lot of people want to talk to you about the game or what's going on, So, I mean, it's pretty special and it's one of the things that I hold pretty close to my heart. And I really love that organization.
Yeah, no, I remember the bus was always a little more empty whenever we made a trip to Six. It sucked. I don't get it. I mean, those are my favorite games, man, especially my first couple of years, because if I got scratched, I'd go get food at the Bow Hunters and get a chicken wrap. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I know that. I think they did that when I was still there, and then I think they quit doing it. They, I don't know, too hostile. There was a couple teams that didn't even come up. I think it was Orangeville. They're like,
Yeah, no, I remember we'd come up occasionally, and then all of a sudden it was the finals, and no more meals were supplied. So
I know, eh? Too much floor on the floor. What's that?
In your junior career, you obviously battled through some injuries. You got hurt a few times and kind of took away a couple of your years. Talk about coming back from that and how that's really developed you as a player. I think as of recently, I'm pretty sure you still wear your brace every once in a while.
Yeah, I haven't worn it in probably three or 4 years since my rookie year in the NLL. But no, man, that wasn't only lacrosse learning experience for me. It was kind of a life thing, and taking things for granted. I got hurt in 2010 and then 2011. So back-to-back years, it was brutal. 2 ACLs in 2 years was pretty upsetting and pretty, what's the word? Discouraging. I thought I was ready to go and then I hurt it again. So I think the biggest thing that I learned from that was not take things for granted and battle through adversity. So like the second time I found out, oh man, I was in tears actually. And I thought like lacrosse is over and I thought I had to like start doing something else. But I battled through it and I started rehabbing and working out and kind of doing the right things to get back. And it worked out for me. So
as far as I can see from what the research I have, you and me have something in common with like 95% of other junior players is we never won a Minto.
Yep.
We both hit some hot teams. You obviously had the Orangeville and Whitby teams that were beating you out, and I was losing to Six every year. Talk about just how hard that Minto is, because I mean, granted, other than a couple guys who won a few, like it's very, very rare to win that, and you only got 5 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the NCAA thing, right? You get only 4 cracks at it, or if you're lucky enough to play at a younger age, you get an extra year at it. But I mean, I think I got beat out by Orangeville every year, I think. Yeah, from 2008 until my last year, 2013, we got beat out by Whitby in Game 7.
Yeah, though I either lost to you guys or didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We did beat up on you guys a little bit there. Those are always good battles, though, man. Like a couple line brawls, I remember.
Yeah, no, there was a real hatred between the Arrows and the Lakers, and
Yeah.
I remember at one point I was playing, and there was a dad in the stands who would keep yelling at me. The guy who just had that incredible laugh every time there's a call, he'd be like, "Fox, you suck!"
Oh, yeah.
Ha 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 ha
Yeah.
ha. I was like, Jesus. It just goes to
still
show.
does that.
Wouldn't surprise me one bit.
One of the things I remember from that series is Paxton LaRue running around with a Woody. That was terrifying.
Yeah, I mean that's the way it goes. I had when I was in my fifth year, it was Kessler Doolittle running around with a Woody. I had to grab him at one point, and I was just like, "We can't do this anymore. I'm done. I'm done. Can't do it."
There's definitely a lot of rivalries in Ontario Junior Lacrosse, and it always makes the game so much more special for everyone involved. We're going to get into your junior college, going on to your Syracuse career. So when you started out in JUCO at Onondaga College, you kind of ended up dominating on the lacrosse field. Can you kind of talk about your days at Onondaga College?
Yeah, I mean, so I was coming into my second year or my last year of junior in my first year of college, I think it was. And I was rehabbing super hard. Like the trainer at OCC had me going. And I think just the confidence I built from the mental side of my knee being okay, and then performing in that junior A series really helped elevate my game. I think if I didn't go to community college, I probably wouldn't have learned the lessons that I've learned, like, being on time for class and getting class done, and actually taking advantage of tutoring and, kind of doing all that stuff. So, I mean, it was definitely a good thing for me. And, being a part of those teams for 2 years, you get to build special relationships with those guys. And then it kind of sucks at the end because then you disperse, right? People go D1, D2, D3. So it's like a very tight brotherhood because it's only 2 years, and it's very special. The coaches there kind of taught me how to play field lacrosse. I never really been in a structured game before then. It was always like box outside. So actually learning slides and kind of different offensive packages really helped my field game altogether.
Yeah, it didn't seem like you struggled too much there, though. Jesus.
No.
139 points, 156 points, Onondaga record for most points, 37-0, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we get it. You're good at lacrosse.
Yeah, we get it. Eh? No, me understanding the game was more of what I learned there rather than just going out there and, going one-on-one and drawing a slide and then and dumping it, but understanding where the slide was coming from and how they rotate and, the different spacing, I guess, on offense is a big thing that I learned there, and not forcing it.
Yeah. Please, I still don't know how to not force it. I'm still learning that.
Chuck it in there now.
So after your Onondaga, you went to Q's. Talk about what made your decision. I'm guessing it's pretty easy. I mean, Cody Jamieson being your cousin and everything, being a big part of Q's there and winning a national championship, and I'm sure that being close there probably was a big influence. But what was the big deciding factor to go to Q's?
I think, watching, first off, Marshall Abrams, Brett Bucktooth, Sid getting there, and then Jammer getting there, it kind of gave me a confidence in that I could do it too. That was one thing. And then another thing was just being close to home. It's only 4 hours from Six Nations. So, my uncles, aunts, cousins, mom, dad, grandparents would come down to Cuse and, watch me play against Notre Dame or Duke, where if I was somewhere else, it probably wouldn't be that easy for them. But I think that was the biggest thing. And another thing is just, OCC is 8 minutes away from Syracuse. So being comfortable with the city and having friends there already also helped.
Talk about Coach Desko for you. I'm sure he probably had a pretty good relationship with you at school, and obviously he's one of the most renowned coaches in field lacrosse. Although I hate to give Syracuse guys compliments, as you know. Talk about Desko and what he had the influence on his game and your other coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at Coach Desko, we call him Big Man because I feel like he's been in every situation in the field lacrosse game, and he's coached like Mikey Powell, Casey Powell, Ryan Powell, Kevin Lavelle, like all these Marichek's Gates, like it's just crazy to think that like this man has like seen so many talent day in and day out and different work ethics and different stuff like that. So, I mean, you kind of just look up to him and you take whatever he says to heart and you listen to it because, he's definitely knows what he's talking about and his experiences. I mean, he's very calm. He's very calm coach, and he can fly off the rails once in a while if like a call doesn't go the way. But yeah, I mean, he's definitely a special coach, and he's done some great things over his career. One of the guys that helped me, like that I sat down with a lot, was like our offensive coach, Kevin Donahue, Dylan Donahue's dad. He was always watching film, so like he broke it down for me. That's where I learned even more about the field game and spacing and stuff. So yeah, man, it was a great time there, and it was. I kind of wish I would go there for 4 years, but it didn't work out that way.
What was your most memorable game or moment on the field at Q's?
Oh, I think when we beat Duke in overtime at the ACC to go to the ACC championship, that was one. The first time stepping into the dome was like getting your name called, because I remember hearing Cody, Brett's, all their names called and running out and shaking everyone's hands. That is probably up there. Yeah, those two are probably the best, man. That was awesome.
I'm glad you didn't mention any Hopkins stuff.
Well, I was gonna, because the first thing that came to my mind, I was like, when we got beat by you guys to go to the the Final Four.
Oh, that was the year before I got there, where they just all of a sudden started kicking everyone's ass.
Yeah, we tried clawing back at the end, and then it wasn't enough. Stanwyck, I think, let us up.
No, for sure, and I'm sure that you have a lot of great memories from your playing days at Onondaga College and at Syracuse as well. So we're going to get into some fun here. We're going to do our Battle of the Brothers segment. So basically, Jake's going to go through different topics for you, and you basically got to decide who's better, you or your brother, at each topic.
All right, let's go.
All right, Austin's going to be our next one, so we'll let him know afterwards who you pick, and I'll message it to you later. So we'll figure out who's the better box lacrosse player, you or Austin.
Oh man, that's like, do I gotta answer it like just straight up?
Yeah, man.
I don't know. I think he's better at me than some things, and I'm better. He's definitely a better shooter. I'm a better playmaker. But I guess, I mean, we both won Rookie of the Year. I had more points than him in my rookie year, so I'm gonna say me.
All right, there you go. Who has better style, better like fashion sense?
Oh, me, 100%. He just gets out of bed and just puts on whatever. He looks like a hobo.
Jeez. Who's better at video games?
Him. It used to be me when my gaming days, but him now. That's all he does.
All right, here's a good one. Who's the better looking brother?
Oh, probably me. Yeah, definitely me. He's massive now. So,
who's a better field lacrosse player?
Ooh, that's tough too. He goes to the net so hard, man. What?
He did just get all world at the last game.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, yeah, he goes to the net so hard and no one can stop him. I'm gonna say him. He's dominant.
Who's a better driver?
Me, hands down, me. I just sold one of my cars actually, so
Oh God, who's got a better twister?
Him when his feet are planted, mine when I'm on the run.
Oh, you're being too nice to your brother right now.
I know, but I mean, I gotta call a spade a spade. He
Who's
does have a sick twister though.
who's a bigger mommy's boy?
Him, 100%. He's that's all. He's definitely a mommy's boy. My mom treats him like his like her little baby boy.
Who's a better cook?
I don't think he's ever been in the kitchen. I see him. My girlfriend called him out for being in the vegetable section at the groceries. I think he was lost, but no, definitely me.
All right, this one's going to be a pretty easy one, I think, from what you said earlier. Who's in better shape?
Me. I'd run circles around him.
Who's better agitator or chirper during games?
Probably me. Yeah. He's more like it doesn't make sense. It's just like he's just blurting something out and it's like, what?
Oh my God. Who's better on social media?
None of us. We're pretty terrible. I don't think yeah. I'll give it to him. He can have that one.
Jeez, I was going to say, neither of you are super active, but active enough to have people looking.
Yeah. I mean, I could do a better job. He definitely doesn't do anything really. But whatever. He can have it.
That's awesome. We're excited to see what your brother says, and hopefully we get some more interesting answers there. We're going to dive into your kind of your MLL and NLL careers here. And can you talk to us about the difference between the college lacrosse game and then the pro game at the MLL level?
Yeah, the structure. I think there's the pro game. I think you kind of just you got to take it upon yourself to watch film and to be prepared and to practice. So like college, you're practicing every day. You're watching film every day. You know exactly who you're playing. So, I mean, I just think the structure of the pro game really caught me off guard. It was more free flowing, not as many rules. So yeah.
I was going to say, when you made that jump, obviously you went to Rochester. Now with the whole rebranding, you're in Atlanta right now, currently.
I just got traded.
Oh, I forgot you got traded.
Boston.
You're in Boston now, right?
I'm a suitcase, yeah. Played for every team in the league, it seems like. I was in Dallas.
I was going to say, I think most guys in the MLL, unless you're like junior or something like that, have played for multiple teams in that league. It's just kind of the way it goes. So you're not that special. So,
True.
But talk about your jump to going to Roch, and again, you're in that New York kind of based area, and everything's kind of familiar for you.
Yeah, I think it was good for me because there's a lot of Cuse guys. Joel White, Galloway, John Lade, guys like that that I knew previously. So it was a good mix of guys. A couple Canadian guys too, McIntosh. But the jump for me, I think I was playing midfield at the time, offensive midfield, hustle off immediately after we lost the ball.
No shot until you're going back on D.
Yeah, no way. But it was good. I mean, they played pretty free. Most of the time we just gave the ball to Jordan Wolf and kind of tried to find some space, and you just run around everybody. But I mean, it was great. I think we went to the championship my rookie year. We got beat by New York. But it was definitely different, for me as a midfielder, I think I was on the second midfield line, so I didn't get many runs. So I was always itching to get out there, trying to, butt guys. But, that's the way it is.
Obviously, last year, pretty dominant year with a pretty good group of guys. You had Matthews, Jackson, yourself, bunch of other guys I can't think off the top of my head would play with the Atlanta Blaze. Yeah, Colsey, that's right. Talk about being in Georgia for playing with Atlanta, and then we'll get into the box thing and basically how you basically were at least last year a native son of Atlanta.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, just being comfortable with the area, like I said, and then the team guys. Like there's a lot of Canadians and box guys on there, like Shane Jackson. he's one of my good buddies, Colsey, guys like that, Mark. So, growing the game in Atlanta has been a success, I think. Watching it over the past, I think I've been there 5 years now, on and off in the field loop, but most on in the box loop. So getting more fans and seeing more people ask about it, and getting better crowds. So it's been a good turnout over the years.
Yeah, you said yourself, being an MLL suitcase to being a solid stand for the Georgia Swarm, being the 6th overall pick for them a few years back in 2015. One thing you guys have is that huge native influence, especially on your offense. A bunch of you guys have played together, whether it be Chiefs, Team Iroquois, a whole bunch that you got you, Lyle, Mile, Zed's on the team. Who else? Zach Miller. Yeah, so you guys have that huge influence. Talk about how nice that's been having those guys and that familiarity you guys have had.
Yeah, I think it's nice for everybody. We all can relate with each other, so we're not jumping into a situation where you don't know anybody or one guy on the team. So I think it makes it comfortable for everybody. It's been a blast down in Georgia. The Arladas, amazing family, great owners, and Eddie and the coaching staff have also been great for us over the years.
One coach that I know Will knows really well for you guys is Dan Ladouceur.
Laddie.
Talk about Laddie, because from what I've heard, he's actually a pretty good player coach. He really understands the boys and it's very very open, even though back when he's playing days, he'd punch probably your face in if you had a chance.
Yeah, I know. He's been great. I mean, I think he helps us in a lot of different ways, man. He watches a lot of film and he critiques a lot of things, and he gives us a structure and he lets us be free, which is great for our offense. I mean, we got a lot of creative players, and one thing that he always harps on is staying positive and keeping each other accountable. And I think for our offensive group, it helps us tremendously. We have homework every week that we got to get done, and he's always on top of it. But no, on a side note, Laddie's a beauty. I always ask him once a week what he gets into at work. So that's definitely amusing for me.
He's definitely an awesome guy, and his job is certainly something awesome. He's one of the tactical guys in the Durham Regional Police here, and he's definitely a great lacrosse coach as well. We're gonna go into your Iroquois national kind of career here. You were the youngest member of the Iroquois Nationals at the U19 team that won bronze in 2008. Can you talk about that first experience playing for that team?
Yeah, that was a nerve-wracking experience for me. I think I was 15 at the time, 14 trying out, 15 when the tournament happened. Me, Lyle, and Warren Hill made the team, so we had to write these letters to I think it was Stan Cochran or somebody in the World Lacrosse thing to get approved to play because we were young. So we had to deal with all that. And then once that was over and we got approved, it was kind of – it's like once you don't want to mess up during that. So, when you're in those games, you're playing against, Team Canada, all those guys that are – playing college, all those guys on the U.S. that are playing Division I, the Brattons, I think, were on the team. Just the Stanwick, a bunch of those guys. So, when you're out there as, a 15-year-old boy, you're kind of all right, well, I don't want to throw the ball away. I don't want to turn the ball over. I don't want to miss a shot. So it was definitely kind of pressure of not messing up for me personally. But it was, the first experience for me really seeing how the Iroquois is more than just a game, I guess. You're representing a people and a community, and that's something that I hold dear to me. And it was an incredible experience, and I was lucky to be a part of it.
We obviously got a chance to play with each other with the Iroquois and meet each other. And I remember, I think it was the open tryouts at OCC, and they said, Fox, put a pole in your hand and go cover Randy. I was like, are you kidding me right now? And you're just, oh,
Yeah.
God. Jesus.
I remember that. That was fun. That was a fun tryout though. Didn't we play OCC or somebody?
We
Or
played
scrimmage?
a pickup game, basically, where coaches who knew guys just went and grabbed people in the Rochester, Syracuse area and just said, "Hey, come to this field."
Oh yeah,
a bunch of Iroquois players.
yeah. I remember that when they told you to put a pole on me. I was like, What's going on here?" What did you think of that?
Scotty Marr actually had text. So I was going to school with Scotty Marr's son, Kyle. And Kyle said, hey, Scotty wants me to tell you to be ready to play pole. And I laughed it off. I was like, yeah, good joke. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, he's full of shit.
Yeah, exactly. And then right after, I played 1 quarter of a game with Lyle and Ty as my attack crew. And I think I had 5 turnovers. And then they're like, but to the point where my dad had left the field. He was so pissed off at me for the way I was playing. And then,
Really?
Yeah, he like left the field. And then they're like, have you ever played pole? Nope. All right, here's a brand new pole, Nike pole, put your head on it and go play. I was like, all right, fuck.
Get out there.
We ended up making it, and we ended up going to Israel, and we had some passport issues. Obviously, you've dealt with that before. Talk about the importance of traveling on a Haudenosaunee passport, being with the Iroquois team, and some of the issues you've had.
Yeah, I think the point of it is just, being Iroquois as people, and being recognized as that. And if we can't travel, if we have to travel on a Canadian or a U.S. passport, then then it shouldn't be like that. So I think it's just a sovereignty thing. And I think we should travel on our Iroquois passports. And I know it's tough to get recognized throughout the world because we're such a small community. But I think Oren Lyons and the board of the Iroquois have been doing a good job of trying to, make it real, I guess, or make it established, I should say. So, yeah.
Well, then I guess the next step now is the Olympics and, figuring out whether or not Iroquois is going to be accepted, because I know that's kind of up in the air now. What's your kind of thought process looking at that?
Yeah, I don't really know, honestly. I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but the goal obviously is to get into the Olympics and be representing our country or our, people. I think that's the issue, is that we're not a country. So I don't really have too much thought on it. It's kind of, I don't really know to explain it to you. So, yeah.
A little above your pay grade.
Yeah, exactly. I don't get paid for that. I don't get paid at all.
Well, I'm sure lacrosse fans are certainly hoping that the Iroquois Nationals will be accepted in the Olympics, and hopefully if they can't play under the Iroquois Nationals jersey or emblem, whatever you want to call it, hopefully they can play under the Olympic flag, and that would be a big step in the game for lacrosse and for the Iroquois people as well. So we're going to get into a little more fun here. It's going to be our word association game. So basically Jake's going to say a word, and you got to think of someone who comes to mind as quick as possible. You can explain why if you want, or you don't have to if you don't want
to. Okay.
All right. The first word is funny.
Shane Jackson. He's hilarious. He's so him or Alex Krepicek, but they're both pretty quick and witty.
Jackass.
Oh man. Brendan Bomberry.
Oh, that's great. Pest.
What? You cut out.
Pest.
Pest?
Yeah.
Ooh. What?
Who's a pest? Pest.
Oh, you keep cutting out, man. Who's a pest? Um, can I pass? I can't think right now.
Yeah, no.
Hang on, let me think.
Do you want me to come back to it at the end?
Who is a pest? Sure.
All right, we'll come back to it. Diet.
Diet?
Yeah.
Lyle Thompson.
Yeah, makes sense. Skills.
Skills. John Grant Jr.
GOAT, greatest of all time.
Oh, wow. That's so tough. I got 3.
Go for it.
John
Name all
Grant
3.
Jr., John Tavares, and Colin Doyle.
Wow, that's a pretty good list.
Those are
Fast.
my guy. Fast?
Fast.
Me. No, just kidding. Shane Simpson.
Yeah, no, Shade's fast. Oh my god. Brick wall.
Yeah. Ooh. Messenger.
I put that in thinking
Messenger,
goalies, but
Tyson
yeah,
Bomberry.
yeah, no, they
Oh,
are.
I was thinking because I run into people most of the time.
Yeah,
and
me too. I get that.
when I run into them, I either Tucker Durkin too can get thrown in there.
Lazy.
Lazy. Oh, Brendan Bobberry. He's my roommate. He just lays. He's horizontal all day. Like game day, he's horizontal, buried into his phone.
Just 10 toes up.
He's probably just waking up right now, actually.
Locker room.
Locker room. Team guy? What do you mean? I'm confused.
It's
like
your. We've had guys say like a team, or guys have said players.
Okay. Locker room. When I think of locker room, I just think of like the Georgia Swarm room and like the floor and the logo in the middle.
That's good.
The locker room's sick.
You guys do have a nice locker room from the videos I've seen.
Yeah.
Defense.
For some reason, it just popped in my head. Like the people in the stands when they hold like the D and then the fence. That just came to my head. But defense would be, I think it's Sid Smith.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. I think goals.
Goals, John Grant Jr.
And coach.
Coach. I think there's 2, Eddie Como and Jason Johnson. Jason coached me kind of my whole minor career.
And we come back to pest. Who just pisses you off in games, man? It's that easy. Who's the guy you don't like going against? Who's always in your
games?
You just throw
He doesn't really bug me that much anymore.
You just throw Audie under the bus.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think. Audie, he doesn't bug me either. He just chirps me. Says I suck. But no, that's about it, I think. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. We're going to get into your
I
MSL.
butchered that.
No, it's all good, all good. We're going to get into your MSL career playing for your hometown Six Nations Chiefs. So can you kind of talk about winning the Mann Cup in 2016 and what that kind of meant to you, your family, and the community of Six Nations?
Don't bring up the Eastern Finals. Just skip that part.
Yeah. First off, the reverse sweep was pretty instrumental on getting there. But yeah, I mean, that's where it started, honestly, because beating them, like they were up 3-0 and then coming back and winning 4 straight. I remember Brody Merrill had like one crazy speech about adversity and it really got the boys going, and we kind of didn't look back from there. But to get into the Mann Cup, playing with like Dan Dawson and seeing his leadership and watching him kind of lay it out all on the line, it was crazy and surreal, I guess, to be a part of that. But there's so much I could talk about. I think winning that thing is very hard to do, especially like when you're battling the 2 series before that go to game 7s. You know, your body's beat up, you're mentally like drained. It's literally a mental and physical battle throughout the whole thing. So yeah, I think just seeing all the leadership, like Sid Smith, Billy D, like Paul Dawson, all those guys, you know, they kind of just bucked up and taught me and the younger guys. I think my brother was on the team; he got called up. So winning it with him was also something special. To do it in 6 Nations was amazing. You know, I don't think the last time it was here, I think they lost the Mann Cup. So winning it here was very special. But it meant a lot to me and my family, and I know the community.
Yeah, thanks for that reverse sweep. That was fun. I remember watching that. I was back at Hop for game 6 and 7 because I had to go back to school, and I just remember watching it. And I threw my computer across the screen when I saw that you guys had come back. You mentioned though playing. Yeah. You mentioned having your brother play with you. I remember him getting called up because we had both just finished, I think, junior, and we both came up and played.
Yep.
And I swear to God, your brother would play 2/3 of the game because he'd get injured halfway through the first, take a period off, and then come back and just score 3 goals. He like popped his shoulder out like 5 times in 7 games or something like that. But talk about how special that was for you, playing with your brother and getting to raise that trophy together.
That was like the first actual time, other than like beer league or like, you know, just messing around in the backyard, actually like playing in a meaningful games. So I mean that was awesome, and to watch him like rip it up a little bit was also pretty sick. So and it was good just to, because I've never seen him in that kind of like on the bench. You know, it's different when you see different personalities when they come out on the bench and you're working together and you're battling together. So it was awesome to see that side of him finally, you know, like as his teammate. But yeah, it was great.
Yeah, well, we don't have to talk about the 3-0 comeback anymore. We'll leave that to die in the history.
You just won 3 in a row. What are you talking about?
I'm with Brooklyn. I'm with Brooklyn.
I know that, but like, didn't you just get traded there like
last summer?
Last summer.
So I have one. I say because one I was still in junior. So
yeah.
But there's a story that I want you to bring up from Israel when we were there. You and your brother got in a pretty heated argument, and your brother with I guess you could say balcony hopping. Talk about that. Why were you guys getting so pissy with each other?
Is this what? Well, I think the balcony hopping thing, that was like, I think I was locked out of my room, and or something happened. I honestly can't remember. I think, I'm trying to think now, because I thought you were talking about the one where we start arguing on the floor or on the field. But the balcony hopping one, that was like, I think I got locked out of my room and I went into Ty Thompson's room and I just like slithered over the side of the thing. It was pretty scary, actually. I don't recommend ever doing that again.
You were like literally on the 20th floor. I'm pretty sure we were on the 20th floor.
I know, man. Yeah, I wasn't. I don't think I was in the full state of mind, but yeah, I don't think I should have been doing that. That's for sure.
And then, yeah, the other story was literally in Israel. You and your brother almost getting a fist fight on the field.
Yeah, that he's probably gonna blame that on me, but I'm gonna blame it on him because, you know, like how the sun was there. Like once it was just about to go down at like eye level, you couldn't see anything. And I think we were on a fast break, or I missed a pass before, and I was like, man, if I can't see it, don't pass it to me, please. And he's like, oh, all right, whatever. And then so we come down on a fast break. He rips a pass like right at my stick, and I miss it. And I was like, what the fuck? I told you, don't fucking pass me that ball. And we get into the huddle and then we start arguing. I was like, man, I can't fucking see. Don't fucking, and then we just start, bitching at each other. But that was, we get into that. I think that was our childhood coming out.
One more thing is we got your good buddy Jacko, Shane Jackson, coming on. His episode's going to be released here soon. And you got any stories with Jacko we should bring up?
Oh, stories of Shane. I'm trying to think. Not off the top of my head. Like I said, man, I got a terrible memory, and like my girlfriend gets pissed off at me all the time because I can't remember anything. But not off the top of my head.
I'll message you later.
He's also my yeah. I don't have anything off the top of my head.
No, it's all good. We're going to get into the final thing here. It's our play until the whistle segment. As you know, there's been a lot of abuse towards officials in Ontario lacrosse in the last couple of years. So we're going to ask you who your favorite ref is and why.
Who my favorite ref is? None of them. No, just kidding. I would have to say Mark Cardonio, I would say, just because, he'll talk to you and he does a fair job, I think. So I think having him is one of my favorite refs, for sure. But
you talk about the communication with Mark. Do you think that's one thing that between players, coaches, and officials needs to improve on in the game of lacrosse, or is there something else that you think can improve?
100%, I think, because like a lot of times they're getting bitched at by both teams and they don't want to hear you talk, right? Like I think they should be open to having just a conversation. If somebody's coming over there screaming, I don't think they should acknowledge that much, But if you want to have if you have a question or you have a man-to-man conversation, I think that should be something that they should be open to. I know a lot of times I have a question or I want to ask something or say something, and they just like turn around, go to your bench, turn around, go to your bench, So it's just like, but you don't even know what I'm going to say, like what, So, but yeah, I think that could be something that could be worked on for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. It is frustrating when you're just trying to have a conversation with the officials and they just kind of tell you to go away. And I do believe that just communication between the players and officials, whether it's just a simple like, hey, thanks for making that call, or you can look out for this, please. Just little simple things will really help the game between officials and the players. So we really do appreciate you coming on here and talking with us. And we're excited to watch you in your lacrosse career and wishing you all the best moving forward.
No problem, boys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Randy.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Sticks and Picks Lacrosse Podcast presented by Lacrosse Unlimited. Don't forget to check out their website at lacrosseunlimited.com for all your lacrosse needs. A big thank you to True Lacrosse for their continued support in growing the game of lacrosse through our podcast. True Lacrosse provides lacrosse athletes with top-of-the-line equipment and sticks in today's game. Follow us on our social media pages on Twitter and Instagram at SticksPicksLax and on Facebook at Sticks and Picks Lacrosse for more lacrosse content, future episode releases, and some awesome lacrosse giveaways. We are currently giving away another True Comp SF 4.0 shaft. Head over to our Instagram page for more details. Every Thursday night, you can watch Major Series lacrosse games on Facebook for free, and you can also enter the 50-50 contest to win some cash.